Heyo. Okay, so first things first, I want to just let you guys know that this video does not turn out the way the script does not turn out the way that I thought it would. I'm not gonna let you know anymore. Just that's it. Did not turn out in the way I thought it would. Heyo, I'm toasted. Ideas, and today I want to go over something that has caught my eye that seems quite prevalent in this day and age. That being how the internet and the world following after that has had an effect come into play through the world of dating. That has and will continue to change the way that relationships work. Or at least that's how I see it. The oldest profession known to the world is prostitution, which indulges in money for the trade of sexual favors. And debating on who you are as a person, you might also call this form of trade to be an antecedent of it being a job. Now, perhaps you might see as to where I'm going with this already, but it's as if the world of dating has just become an app for prostitution to take place. And when it's not, it's heavily induced into whatever forms from that date. And I mean, just think, what's a good portion of dating profiles on dating apps? It's a good portion of people just wanting you to follow their Instagram or go to their sneaky link, which is, for the most part, an obvious form of prostitution. But then, after you get past that, there is still a good portion of people who are just on those apps for a hookup, yet still want to be treated to dinner of some sort. So, in the end, you're still trading money, just through food this time, for the end price of sex. Just to let you know, for the rest of the video, for editing's sake, whenever I talk about sex, I'm going to say S, and for prostitution, I'm going to say Prost, which, after looking up if there was a definition, which I did find one, I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing that I'm using that to defer prostitution. Germans, let me know your stance on that. And so begun the downfall of the script, as it was planned to go. Enjoy. You know what? I think I found my problem. I'm just thinking in my brain. I've been watching more of 304 underscore math, and recently watched his video on how relationships should be, that they indulge in the culture of giving rather than demanding, which is what can be found with fruits abound in today's society of dating. And in those cases, I think that those people who indulge in demands to just be undercover Prost, as they demand food or money in return for being with them in a relationship, which I would assume includes S. So, in other words, we're back to demanding money in return for S. Or, in better terms, we're back to Prost. I was trying to make a connection for how when relationships do actually happen from dating apps or just dating in general, that it's all just Prost. Because within a romantic relationship, there is still the request of a date, the whole take me to dinner first shtick, which would include the transference of money or food in return for S. But I think that my problem is what would what would include giving on this? Because although it's hopeful thinking, I would hope that there's more to a relationship than just demanding. But even with my example of take me to dinner first, that in and of itself is a demand. Give me food in return for S. Huh. So my problem now is that I'm realizing that in order for something to be in a giving manner, it's something that must be done without the request of that person. But what does that actually mean? Just giving for the reason of giving. It goes back to that whole thing of how you shouldn't scorekeep in a relationship. But what does giving entail in a relationship? Oh, okay. I was thinking about S in my brain, and I was asking myself about how that would ever go into giving, because you can't just give S, as it takes two to tango, and you can't force someone to. No. Yeah. No, you can't force someone to receive something. So, how could the act of giving be put into S? How can you give S if you can't force it? Am I just missing the word accept in this junction? But then, would it be giving? If I asked to give S in the return of nothing, because then it wouldn't be giving, because S in return for S isn't. No, that would be reciprocal giving. But then, could that be construed into someone giving S because they feel forced by the fact that you're giving S? Because then it wouldn't be giving. It would be like a weird mixture of guilt, would it not? Would it be giving if I were to want to give S, but then halfway through my partner wants to also join in the giving of S? Because then, wouldn't that just set the precedent of getting S by giving S? So then it would no longer be giving, but rather set the precedent of expecting S in return for S. Would it not? Because that would then be transactional or demanding, in other words. Because I would then be quote unquote giving S, but through that I would expect S in return over time, would I not? Like, would you not feel guilt within yourself if you were to just accept someone's giving in return for nothing? Because then it would be giving, I would think. Yes, I would have to be right. Giving in return for nothing would be giving, because from an outward view, it couldn't be construed as anything else. Right? Though, would you not have a growing feel of being taken advantage of? No, that would be a relationship that only indulges in one person getting anything out of it, which isn't reciprocal giving. In fact, I would say that that is transactional, as they're in a relationship with you because you're giving them whatever that thing is. But the thing is that people have a bad tendency for not counting their blessings or counting what others do for them, as people are just typically selfish in that way, thinking of what we've done for them rather than thinking of what that person has done for us. So it seems it would appear that being in a reciprocally giving relationship, it would require both people to be selfless between the two of them, as it would be a selfish mindset that would surely break such an equally good thing. But can you be selfless while also having to accept the giving of the other person in that relationship? Would that be selfless then? As then you have to think about your own wants, which isn't selfless, but rather selfish. So you have to be selfish when your partner wants to be selfless, but then when you're selfless, your partner has to be selfish. Perhaps the question is if it's selfish to accept, but then the other question would be, is it selfless to give? Which I would say yes to the latter. that is how it is selfless to give. Man, I'm having a tongue twister stroke over here. So then would it also not be a yes that it is selfish to accept? How does that dynamic work? Be selfless with your partner as you shouldn't keep score, but also be selfish when your partner wants to be selfless towards you. So you would then have to change your psyche on that. You're selfless with your partner so then they're getting or being given within the relationship, but then they have to change your outlook on being selfish to being selfless in order to give towards you, in which you have to go from being selfless to selfish in order to accept their giving. I feel like I'm having a stroke over here. Yikes. So then I guess that the difference between Prost and a relationship would be the difference between demand and giving, or selfishness and selflessness. So then I guess that my overarching question of this entire thing then is it selfish and demanding of expectations for what my partner should quote unquote bring to the table, like be it looks, money, kindness, childbearing age, size, height, or weight? Would that be selfish? Because then you're saying that you won't be in a relationship with someone who doesn't exceed my expectations, or at least meet them. Or, in better terms, relationship for age of 20 to 25. Like, it's a transaction at that rate. Though, is it wrong to have those expectations for a relationship? I would say that I personally don't think that it's wrong, but it is selfish in the end all be all of that, which it is bad to be selfish, but could I ever drop that part of myself to be better than that? Or am I just cursed for life to be selfish? And in that questioning, am I therefore cursed to never have a good relationship? Then I think that the following question for that is, am I deserving of love? Because if I can't change me being selfish, or like if I'm unable to change who I am fundamentally, that being a selfish person, then am I truly ever deserving of better than what I force myself into through inability? Think I'll have to answer that in the next video if I can. But either way, I hope you enjoyed listening to my thought process in this video. And I guess if you agree or disagree with something, then please find yourself down below. And also, I want to just say, if you're gonna make a comment like saying you disagree, I would appreciate if you made what you disagreed with known, because then I could make a response and actually like possibly tell you my thought process on things, or explain myself better, I guess. But if you just tell me you disagree but don't provide why or what I said that you disagree with specifically, then can't really do anything with that. And it doesn't help people to grow if you don't tell them what they did wrong and then pointing out why it is wrong. Anyway, but while you're down there, perhaps you'll consider hitting that subscribe button to become a fellow bread bag. And likewise, also consider hitting that like button so that people who may have not seen this video can see this video. And then themselves can also consider joining the bread box, because we need more bread. But aside from that, I hope to see you in the next video. And until then, have a good one.